Normally we tape the install with Greg Cosell on Thursday mornings, but we had to adjust, and Greg was kind enough to adjust with us. So Cosell will join us momentarily as soon as Robert gets things up and running on Zoom. Greg, I believe we have you now at Greg Cosell, of course, is where you can follow him. The NFL Matchup Show available to you in the early morning hours if you want to watch it live. Greg, I actually watched the Matchup Show live this past week like a sicko at 3 a.m. in the morning because I couldn't sleep.
But most people, I think, probably DVR it.
Yes.
But although the ratings have been very good the last couple of years, and I don't know how all that works. Do you know how all that works, like with DVR versus TV watching? I have no idea about that. That's way beyond my simple mind.
Yeah, I think the people responsible for producing the ratings just take aggregate numbers and tend to put them in a couple of different places or to combine those things. But either way, we understand that it's quality football talk, and that's what people want. Also, they enjoy you and Sal Pal and the rest of the crew. Yeah,
no, I know it's been, and I think, what year is this with Darius Butler? 3 or 4 maybe. I lose track. I've been doing it so long, Buck. I lose track. The first year of the show was 1984.
That predates literally everybody on this current show at this point by about 10 years. But that's why you're the best, Greg. You've been doing it as long as anybody and as well as anybody. Absolutely. Before we dive into, I want to talk about Drake Maye. I want to talk about Cam Ward. I want to talk about Daniel Jones here in just a second, Greg. But the Tennessee baseball team just lost Tony Vitello, their coach, to the San Francisco Giants. You have collegiate baseball experience. Are you interested in being the next coach of the Vols? We're starting the search. We're making it broad.
Well, I did play baseball in high school, and I would have played in college if I wasn't a moron. But no, I saw that. And he's the first coach, right, who is going directly from college to being a manager in Major League Baseball, correct?
It's never happened before. You are correct.
Interesting. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. Look, we know that these teams do major searches. I'm talking about the Major League team. So they obviously feel that he can do that. And it'll be interesting to watch.
You can hear Greg Cosell as well on Fox Sports Radio on Sunday mornings before your NFL action begins. A lot of times there's NFL action already going on when Greg is on the air for Fox. And you can enjoy the analysis in real time while you watch your football. So, Greg, it was a kind of an inverse game for the Titans because a lot of times they will scrap and claw their way into some kind of momentum. Fourth quarter hasn't been their friend, but they came out swinging in the first quarter. The offense scored its first quarter touchdown of the season. I wonder what you saw on those initial drives and what Cam Ward was doing well that ultimately then did fade throughout the course of the game.
It's funny. I actually thought that despite the score, I thought this was the best that Ward has looked over the course of a full game. And I thought, quite frankly, that the Titans' route concepts and combinations at times helped him. They gave Ward more defined reads and throws so he could play with better anticipation and timing. You'll notice, I'm sure, as you did, Buck, that the ball seemed to come out a lot quicker throughout the course of the game.
Yep.
And that has to be the starting point. You don't want him sitting in the pocket because he does have a tendency to do that if he feels that it's not clean. And I thought, obviously on that possession where they scored, I'm trying to think, was it they had a field goal and then a touchdown, correct?
Field goal, yes. And then the 38-yarder to DK.
Right, but the play right before the 38-yarder to DK, if I'm not mistaken, was an 18-yarder to DK, right? And I think that, that was the kind of throw where you say one of those throws where you believe you can be a quality NFL quarterback. They put him under center. It was play action. It was a 3-level combination to the field. So its read was just to one side of the field. It happened to be cover 2. He made a great throw to DK. And then obviously the touchdown was shotgun play action. It was kind of a misdirection throw as well because DK ran the deep over opposite the play action, and he ran a great route, by the way. And I thought Helm, and this may have been overlooked, Helm made an excellent block on a defensive end. White weighs about, and he was out in space, so he didn't have help. And White weighs about 290 pounds. But then you look on the first possession on the third down play where he misses Ayamenor. Iron Manor, excuse me. And, that's a pitch and catch throw. That's a layup. Those are throws you got to make. So you see, but overall, I thought this game was better. And not just because the numbers were better in terms of completion percentage, they were better for a reason. They weren't just better because at the end of the game, it just happened to be better. They were better for a reason. And I thought overall there was more of a sense of, hey, drop back, get the ball out, get the ball to someone. It doesn't have to be 30 yards down the field. Make throws.
Greg Cosell of NFL Films is here with us on 104.5 The Zone. We're doing a live episode of The Install today because Greg has been kind enough to adjust to our schedule.
Greg, can you give us some more context on how that kind of, that is opposite of what was happening before? Like, compared to what the Titans were doing before, what were you seeing with Cam and what he did or didn't have in terms of the check down stuff, the quick game stuff that he utilized more of?
Well, look, guys, you know me well enough to know that no matter what team I'm looking at, obviously I had a really good relationship with the staff there, and Brian Callahan's gone. I don't ever rip coaches. I just don't do that because I know how hard they work. I know, people can say guys are bad coaches, good coaches. I've been around too long. I've been fortunate not only to be with the Titans, but other teams through my career. So I don't rip coaches. But I will say this, just all I do is look at the tape. And I will say that I thought there were many more examples, Lucas, in this game where the route concept, I'll give you an example, by the way, okay? The first play of the third possession probably seemed like a meaningless play. It was a completion to DK for 9 yards. Maybe you don't even remember it because it didn't seem like a big deal. It was the first play of the third possession. But it was a 3-man route concept that basically presented DK on his curl route as a clean, defined throw. So Ward could hit his back foot, and actually there was pressure too, big time pressure. But because it was so clean, he could hit his back foot and deliver the football. To me, and I've been doing this a long time, I've been around a lot of coaches who were smarter than I am. That's what you're trying to do with a young quarterback. You're trying to make it as clean and defined as possible so that he doesn't get stuck in the pocket. And Ward, by very nature, even when he was in college, and I loved Ward coming out, and I'm certainly not going to backtrack on that. I loved Ward coming out. Ward does have a tendency, though, to sort of get stuck in the pocket and wait. Okay, sometimes it's good. More times in the NFL, it's not. In college, it can be great. So you want to create route concepts and combinations where you're moving defenders, particularly against zone, because there's always going to be stress points, conflict areas, gray areas. You want to do that against zone where he can hit that back foot and know, hey, I've got this throw and I can turn it loose. And I thought there was more of that in this game.
Did you feel like there was also a discernible difference in terms of the tempo? Or maybe is that a product of getting those quick passes out, those easy completions that even if it's less distance to get on the football, that maybe it comes off as though they were trying to go quicker?
Well, Lucas, that's a great point because if you're gaining yards, you're essentially staying on schedule. Now, it doesn't have to be a 20-yard gain. I mean, like that first down play I just mentioned was 9 yards. Now you're 2nd and 1. Now you feel that the playbook's open. You can do whatever you want. There's a feeling that now you're playing football and you're moving with some quickness and tempo. So you don't have to be in no huddle. You don't have to do any of that. But if you can just get positive yards, and that's even the first play of the game when it was boot action, he hit home for 11 yards. Plays like that, that's basically a no-read throw or a one-read throw if you want to talk about it that way. He's throwing the ball to Helm. Okay, and you get 11 yards, and now all of a sudden you feel good as a quarterback. Hey, just complete a ball. We got a first down. It was an easy throw that the three of us probably could have made, but you move on, and now you're in. You just get a sense. Hey, now we're playing some football. Those are the things to me. And again, having many conversations over the years, these are the things you want to do with a young quarterback. You never want a young quarterback to be in a position where all of a sudden it's his third possession and he's 2 for 8, because then he feels like he can't complete a ball. And then the whole game starts to squeeze in on him and close him down.
Greg Cosell of NFL Films is here with us. You can get the install wherever it is that you get your podcast. You can watch the episode, and this will be the episode after the fact if you missed it live with us on YouTube. Subscribe to the 104.5 The Zone's YouTube channel. Greg, I want to go back to some of the routine stuff that we've talked about, and without sounding redundant, I think when you bring up the Alec Iamander pitch and catch throw that he just misses, what you're seeing from Cam Ward as far as his feet being married with his eyes and the repetitive nature of that he still has yet to get down, if you could expand on that for the audience.
Yeah, and I think that's something you really got to work on with him. And you can work on it some during the season, but that's an off-season project. You have really got to get his lower body and upper body working together, because you have to remember, so many quarterbacks in college, guys, there's so many quick throws. They're always in the gun. A lot of times the footwork, falls by the wayside, because don't forget, in college too, coaches don't have a lot of time. They're worried about scheming. They're not necessarily spending a ton of time with individual instruction. There's just not enough hours in the day. That's something I think that needs to be continually worked on, so that his lower body and his upper body work in tandem, and he's not throwing the ball off balance. It's great that he can snap it with a very compact delivery. That obviously that's a good thing, not a bad thing. But you cannot be throwing balls off balance or falling away or leaning. And the only time you should be doing any of that is if the defense demands that you do that. But if the defense doesn't demand it with some form of pressure, then you should look really good throwing the ball all the time. I mean, I remember Tom Brady going back after he played 11, 12 years when he had Tom Martinez, his quarterback coach, and I think he's since passed away. But Brady would always go see him after a season just to sort of get back to the fundamentals of throwing a football. People don't talk about that a lot. They think now of quarterbacks, because so many guys of these quarterbacks, particularly in college, come into the league, are better athletes than they've ever been. So we don't think about the mechanics, the repetitive mechanics, but that's absolutely so critical to playing the position. It's being able to marry your footwork, your lower and upper body with your eyes. That's sort of the choreography of the position. You've got to be able to do that in the NFL. And that's something that Cam absolutely needs work on.
Josh McDaniels is a known commodity in the NFL, but what he's doing with Drake Maye right now, Greg, and what Drake Maye has also been able to do is he continues his growth and development. I mean, I got to imagine you really enjoyed putting on the tape of him and watching him, not just because he had a franchise record completion percentage, but the degree of difficulty on some of these throws. The one to Stephon Diggs on the opposing sideline on Sunday was one of the best throws I've seen a quarterback make this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously I watched him for 2 years in college. I saw most of his throws a year ago as a rookie, when I thought he actually had a pretty good season behind a really poor offensive line. And this year, and this is not an X and O point, but you guys just saw him play, obviously. He looks very comfortable, doesn't he? He just looks like it's not hard to play the position, and it is hard to play the position. Now, he was helped by, I thought there were some mistakes by the defense. I thought they did a good job with some play action concepts that got people out of position, which, of course, was the idea when you do that. But still, he's a very easy thrower. The ball comes out. He throws the ball really well between the numbers. He has no problem doing that. He's been really good in a couple of the true litmus test areas for quarterbacks, young quarterbacks. He's been terrific on third down. He's been terrific versus blitz. These normally are two situations that young quarterbacks struggle with. So it just comes out so easily. He's such an easy thrower of the football. I couldn't tell you what happened. Maybe they spoke about it. I couldn't tell you what happened on the booty touchdown near the end of the half. I don't know what Snead was, I don't know the answer to that. Did anybody talk about that?
Yeah, I wasn't at Denard Wilson's press conference yesterday. He had an explanation. It wasn't solely Snead's responsibility. I believe he said they were playing quarters coverage, and it was a miscommunication situation. But we were doing the show while Denard Wilson spoke, so I've only seen a couple of highlights on Twitter.
Quarters can be played multiple ways, and I've talked to teams that play a lot of quarters. So as you guys know, coverages, even the same general coverage, quarters, can be played multiple ways and have different guys with different responsibilities. Snead, watching the tape, looked to me like he clearly thought the safety, and I forget who it was now, but that he clearly thought that the safety was going to, be a factor and help him out, because he pretty much, I think it was Diggs. Diggs was the boundary safety on that play. And I think he clearly thought he was going to get help, and Diggs clearly did not give him help, as if Diggs didn't think he was the guy. But there's multiple ways to play post routes when your corner's playing with outside leverage. So obviously there was a miscommunication, and it ended up being a touchdown. And actually, that was a critical point of the game because that was a close game at that point.
Yeah. Apparently, Denard Wilson also said that L'Jarius Sneed got caught looking in the backfield. Greg, we talk about eye discipline and the critical nature of that on defense. Sneed, by the way, is going to miss some extended period of time. He's got a quad injury. Mike McCoy said they're also going to be on a week-to-week basis with Jeffrey Simmons, which, of course, is a huge blow to the Titans' defense.
Yeah, hamstrings usually are not the next week, so I mean, again, I'm certainly not a doctor, but rarely do guys come back the next week from hamstring injuries.
Tough game to miss going to Indianapolis this weekend.
Greg, we were talking about the general state of the AFC and where things are at as we head into Week 8 here. I'm curious, after watching the Patriots at Nissan Stadium Sunday, I know you've seen a lot of Daniel Jones and the Colts this season as well. Who are you more impressed by at this point in the season of the two kind of surprising teams out of the AFC that are surging right now? The Colts or the Patriots? Daniel Jones or Drake May?
Well, I think there's more than just the quarterback. I mean, I think we all focus on Drake May because, he was a high pick and that team didn't seem like a great team. Whereas the Colts actually have a lot of good players. And that is such a well-schemed offense. They are a very fun offense to put on every week. They do a lot of different things. They have a lot of basic pro concepts. They have a lot of concepts that you'd look upon and saying, oh, that's a college concept. They've got a lot of really good players. Jones is right now, as he's playing at the highest level of ball distributor and executor of an offense that you can play at. I mean, it looks easy, and he's making some difficult throws, by the way. And of course, they got the run game. That's the other factor. I mean, there are two stats that are really fascinating here, given that Taylor, I believe, leads the NFL in carries. But on the other hand, Jones has the most first down passing yards in the league. Those are two stats that don't normally go together. And that's really a testament not only to the players, but to what Shane Steichen is doing with how he has put together this offense. See, there's a great example to me of defining reads and throws for a quarterback. They do such a good job of that. You watch their tape and you just feel like, okay, if Jones doesn't have, let's say, a certain particular throw that they want, well, there's another throw that's right there that's within his vision. So he doesn't have to change his eye movements. He doesn't have to look elsewhere. It's right there for him. And they're doing such a good job with that.
The run game is so much fun to watch for them. That left side of the offensive line is just absolutely kicking ass at this point in time.
Run, I mean, did you see the touchdown run this week? That first one, I know it seems like he has 5 of them every week, but the first one, Quentin Nelson, who's obviously a good player, one of the toughest things to do, and one of the things that evaluators look at when they look at college guards, is backside cutoff blocks. When you're out leveraged to start the play, and you've got to get in front of the D tackle and cut him off. On that touchdown run by Taylor, that first one, Nelson made a backside cutoff block that's about as good as you could ever see. It was ridiculously good.
The NFL Matchup Show, as I mentioned, you can watch it live. You can set your DVRs. You can also get it on demand on ESPN Plus. No matter how you want to get to your football information before your football weekend gets started, you can do just that with Greg and the crew. Week 8, Greg, what pieces will you be highlighting, or what teams will you be highlighting in your pieces for the Matchup Show this week?
Well, we're doing 6 games this week because we're going to do the Giants-Eagles as a full segment this week, since the Eagles, seemingly, got back to what a lot of people think they are, and that's a really intriguing game. And the Giants obviously are playing much better football with Dart. They had that really tough loss last week. That game's a big one in the show. Cowboys-Broncos has now become a very big game. Cowboys offense has been very, very good. Packers-Steelers, very big game. We'll do the Monday night game. We'll do Commanders at Chiefs because the Chiefs have been playing really good football now. 49ers at Texans. Texans are obviously a big disappointment, but the Niners very quietly are 5-2. And not a lot of people are talking about them. And then the Bears have won 4 in a row. Bears at Ravens. So we're going to do that. So that's basically what the show is going to be. So, we're in the process of kind of putting it together now. And another week. Week 8. Hard to believe it's week 8, guys.
Lamar Jackson apparently did practice today. Robert just got in my ear and told me that, Greg.
Tearfully. Through happy tears.
He's a tortured Ravens fan at this point.
Right, because I saw he didn't practice Monday, and I was like, "Oh, is he going to be out again?" But hopefully, he'll be good to go. Because he's a fun guy to watch, and the league needs him out there.
Jaden Daniels is out for that Monday night game, Greg. So you'll get Marcus Mariota there.
Yeah. I didn't think that he'd play, given what it looked like. I mean, that didn't look like, when they said hamstring, that he was going to be back. So doesn't it seem, guys, like there's an inordinate amount of hamstring injuries this year? I feel like every week there's like 5 hamstring injuries.
Yeah, and maybe it's just the star level players we're hyper fixating on. Jeffrey Simmons, the latest, Greg. I mean, that was just so frustrating for him, of course, because the Titans offense looked like it had some juice in the first quarter, and then for Jeff to go out in that spot, it didn't. Maybe they still had a chance, but it just didn't really feel like that after Jeffrey Simmons went out.
And boy, has he been playing well this year. I mean, he has been playing at such a high level. It's sometimes it looks like on given plays, it's like a man playing against high school kids. He's just been so good this year.
Which is crazy to say about being at the NFL level and still being able to do that. Greg Cosell of NFL Films, at Greg Cosell, Sunday mornings on Fox Sports Radio. And, of course, the NFL Matchup Show. You can catch him later this week, of course, with 3HL. Thank you for being flexible, buddy. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Buck. You know that. Lucas, take care. It's great to be with you guys.
Thanks, Greg.
Love you, Greg.
No.
Say it back. Say it back, Greg.
Let that man get on with his day. The way he laughed at you. The way he laughed at you. Thank you, Greg.
Hey, I still love you, Greg.
I didn't even know what that was. All of a sudden, I heard a voice. I didn't even know where it was coming from.
That's basically my entire existence with Robert. I understand. He's also the voice in my head, too.
Yeah. The first time.
I still love you, though, Greg. I still love you.
God knows this show will drive you crazy. Let him get on with his day. That's Greg Cosell of NFL Films.
Thanks, man.
See
you guys. Thanks.
See you, Greg.
Love you. That counts. That counts. He definitely said love you.
He laughed in your face.
He definitely said it. He meant it. It's hard for some men to say love you back. Him saying thanks, man, means he loves me back.
I can't even do that. He didn't hear you, bud, when his response was just...
I love
I don't
Greg's
care.
laugh.
You can't break me down. You can't hurt me.
Lamar practice. You can't hurt Robert today.
You can't hurt me.
I'll try. Coming up